Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to be unpacking the tomtoc Aviator T33 Chest Bag in the 1.5 litre capacity in two new colours, dark blue and green. The Aviator is available in a 2.5 litre capacity and a 3.5 litre capacity, and it also comes in a few other colours, black, khaki and grey, although they do vary by capacity, so you need to have a quick look and see whichever colour you're interested in, if it is available in the capacity you're also interested in. Quick disclaimer, I was provided these bags very kindly for the purposes of taking a look at them. No money changed hands, and all opinions and thoughts are 100% my own. With that out of the way, let's take a quicker look at the colours themselves. This is the dark blue. This is the green. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the features of the bag, and as usual we'll start off with the strap system. So it's a fixed strap system, you can't take the strap on or off, and it is approximately a 1.25 inch strap, sort of a seatbelt style, fairly smooth strap. Not quite as smooth as some other seatbelt style straps, but still very smooth. It has a closed loop sort of buckle here for adjusting the length of the strap, which is nice, so it keeps it nice and neat. And then on this side we have a Duraflex quick release buckle, which is always nice. I do like a quick release buckle on all my straps, to be honest. Initially I was a little bit concerned about the strap being only 1.25 inch. It didn't seem like it was going to be potentially wide enough to be comfortable, but I found has been perfectly comfortable. No issues whatsoever. I think if you went a bit smaller than this, you might run into some comfort issues in the long term over a long day, but for me with this I ran into zero comfort issues. It was perfect. I do like a wide strap, but in this case, as I said, no real issues with this at all. I think they hit just the right size without having to, worry about comfort issues at all. So yeah, no problems for me whatsoever. But just, if you do like a much wider strap, it is only 1.25 inch, so that's something just to think about yourself. Then onto the main body of the bag. The material in use here is RPET, which as far as I'm aware is a recycled material, which is good for sustainability and the environment. It has a nice little cross hatch pattern on it. If you might be able to see it on the video there, I'm not sure. It's a nice little cross hatch pattern. Adds a little bit of texture to it, which is quite nice. It is a woven material, so something similar to nylon or cordura. It's nice and reasonably pliable and soft, it's not very rigid, feels good, and it has a nice little sort of a sheen to it, so it picks up the light depending on what direction you're looking at it from. So it's a nice little, overall, seems like a nice little material anyway, and it has a water repellent coating, and it also has built-in RFID blocking, which is a nice little extra, to keep for peace of mind. From a storage option standpoint, we have essentially three main compartments. We have a secure compartment in the back, or a secret pocket, whatever you want to call it. All the zippers are YKK zippers, so they're nice, easy open and close. In this case, in this one, in the secret pocket, as usual, for slimmer, smaller items, like in this case I have a small notebook. The website indicates you can fit a passport in here, which is nice, so that's the type of thing you might be considering putting in there as you're traveling anyway, so that's nice. And then on the front we have the front essentially quick access pocket, if you will. It has opposite side little grab handles here for opening and closing it easier, which is always nice. Now again, the YKK zippers are easy to open and close anyway. You nearly don't need to, if you're wearing it on your body, it's not going to be a problem anyway. But it's always nice to have those little tags just to make it easier to open and close. This is obviously where you're going to be storing your basic quick access items. In my case, like I have, a packet of tissues. I have, a lip balm, the usual stuff. Some hand cream and sun cream, and then a bottle of hand sanitizer. So nothing spectacular, just the usual stuff you might want to get to quickly when you're out and about. It does have a key leash, and the key leash is reasonably long, but it is not removable, so that lives in there the whole time. And there is no other organization options in there. It's just a big dump pocket. Now it goes all the way down to the bottom of the bag, and it goes all the way up above the zipper to the top of the bag, so you could theoretically put stuff in that's a little bit awkward in size or a little bit bigger, that and you could fit it in up above the zipper as well. So your mileage is going to vary on that depending on what you're trying to fit in yourself, but that is an option. And it is lined, which is nice on the front and back as well. Similar material to the the main material, but I'm not sure if it is the same material or not, but it feels like the same material anyway, just a lighter weave. And then on the main compartment, we have dual zippers, which again is always nice, allows you to you put the zippers where you want them yourself for easy access and for easy usage. And then we have essentially three main sections. We have the main section, and in this case, in the main section, I have a set of car keys. I have my wallet, and then I have a Ricoh GR camera. And you can see the size of the compartment there. It's got a reasonable size. It's pretty decent for a 1.5 litre bag. So there's a good bit of space in there for that. And then in the front we have a mesh pocket with a zip. So it's a nice stretchy mesh pocket. So you could, depending on what you had in your different pockets, you know, at least you have a bit of, you have the ability to put slightly bulkier items in there. It'll stretch out with the mesh, which is always nice. In my case, I just have a slim, small, tiny little e-reader. That's an XTE Ink X3, I think. And then I have a small pen. Fairly simple. And then at the back we have essentially a device divider for what, if you will. In my case, I currently have an iPhone 17 Pro Max in there, and as you can see, it kind of almost hits the width of the pocket. There's a little bit of play, a little bit extra there, and there is a bit of stretch on it, so you can stretch it in and out. You don't obviously have to use it for a device if you want to put other stuff in there. It will stretch out a little bit if you wanted to use other stuff in there as well. And it doesn't have a huge amount more space up the top. A little bit more depending on the size of your phone. So if you had a slightly larger phone, it might fit in there as well, but it is essentially that kind of size. It won't take something like an e-reader, like a Kindle e-reader, like a larger e-reader. So I happen to have a Kindle here beside me. It's a color soft standard size one. So if I pop that in there, you can see it doesn't really fit in there. Even if you tried forcing it in, it doesn't seem to fit very well, and I think you'll end up bursting the seams on the zipper or something like that. So it's not something I would advise. And then just as another aside, I'm going to put the blue one aside, and I'm just going to show you what I have in the green one, just to give you a sense of the overall size of what other options you have with it. In this case, I have a Fuji X106. So as you can see, that fits in there quite nicely. There's a good bit of space around it, so you could potentially have a loadout with that in there instead. Of course, you might need to adjust things around, and it does eat into the front of the bag because obviously the lens in this one sticks out a little bit more than, say, the Ricoh, which is a much flatter kind of shape. So that's something to think about. But it is nice that that is an option on these bags. So for a 1.5 litre, you know, they feel a little bit more spacious than you might think. Overall, they're honestly a great little bag for what they are. For a 1.5 litre bag that is sub 40 euros on Amazon at the time of me making this video, you know, you can't really go wrong. They're really good value. They're using really good materials, you know, YK zippers, Duraflex buckles, you know, they feel well made, the materials feel good. While they are basic in terms of the organization, in a bag this size, you don't need a lot of organization ability. Like you're going to be carrying essentially your pockets plus, you know. So along the same lines of the Evergood Civic Access Sling 1 litre, these are going to be something you're going to carry out with you when you're, you know, using clothes that you don't want to fill out your pockets with. Like if you're going to be carrying just a few items, you know, in your pockets, and then you want to bring some extra stuff like a small camera and a few little bits and bobs, or if you're going out with clothes that don't have pockets, you can use them as an extendable pocket. But I will say that the capacity is really quite good for what they are. Overall, yeah, they're a nice little bag. And that is the tomtoc Aviator T33 1.5 litre in green and dark blue colours. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you got something out of it. We'll get you in another one.